Hey guys, in this video the brilliant Mr. B is going to be taking you through line graphs. Now this comes up in a lot of different subjects, maths and science as well. He's going to be working through 15 different examples at 3 different levels, and if you want to jump ahead to a harder level, then pin comment down below will take you to the timestamps. If you want more practice questions on this topic, then there are thousands of questions waiting for you over on my website.
Line. You might also see these called a time series, and that's because on the x-axis we have time, and for these particular graphs we have months of the year, starting with J for January and going through to D for December. And on the y-axis we've got all kinds of different things like hours of sunshine, temperature, rainfall. These are based on different kind of weather patterns, and the data on these graphs is based on real data taken from the north of England. Now the first thing we need to do is to be able to read these, and a good technique. So for example, the first question, which month has the highest rainfall? We'll use a ruler to help us. So all I'm going to do is place a ruler, straight parallel to the lines on the x-axis. And all I'm going to do is move the ruler down one square at a time until I reach the data. There yet, one more. And now I've moved my ruler down to 90, and we can see that the red line, the data, is just about touching my ruler. So it's a safe bet that where it's touching is the highest point, because at no other point is that red line touching the ruler. And the point that's at, I'm just going to highlight it, the point is here, and that seems to correspond to January, the first J. Which month had the highest rainfall? January. So let's do the same thing for the second graph. So I'm going to place a ruler at the top, and we're going to move the ruler down one square at a time until we reach the data. Now you might be able to look at this and decide, okay, I can kind of see where the highest point is already. Why do I need to use this ruler and move it down one step at a time? Well, we're going to see now. Now, if I move this down a little bit further, so maybe just over half a square, you might be able to see that we're now touching at 2 different points. And so doing this technique just helps you if there is more than one highest point. And I can see that we have a peak here that's touching and a peak here. And we can have more than one answer. Now this corresponds to May and it corresponds to July. So we just need to write both. So which month had the most hours of sunshine? May and July. Now for question 3, we want the lowest monthly average temperature. So we can use the same technique but go from the bottom. So place a ruler at the bottom, place it parallel to the x-axis, and gradually move it up until you start hitting the data, the red line. And again, it's hitting in 2 places. You can see March and December. So what was the lowest monthly average temperature? March and December. Moving on to question 4. Which month had the lowest rainfall? So again, start at the bottom, parallel to the x-axis, gradually move your ruler up the page until you hit the red line. And again, this technique just helps you if there is more than one place where you have a lowest. And a little bit further up, see there's only one place where we're hitting that line now, and it's here, and that looks like June. So which month had the lowest rainfall? June. Moving on to question 5. Which month had the least hours of sunshine? Least, so starting at the bottom, moving our way up and stopping as soon as our ruler touches the data. And we're touching in one place, and it looks like, again, it's going to be January. Which month had the least hours of sunshine? January. Check your answers as well. Use a bit of common sense or your geography knowledge. If these are temperatures in the UK, then you can imagine that the highest temperatures and the least rainfall should be in the summer. So we have answers like May and July and June. And the lowest temperatures, the least amount of sunshine, the most amount of rain is going to be the winter, so months like January, December, and even up to March. If you have a silly answer like December has the most hours of sunshine, then you know you've either made a mistake or maybe the data is from the southern hemisphere, because in Australia you would have the most hours of sunshine in December. Now the next task for the medium questions is to draw your own line chart. So the way to do it is just to go through each row one at a time. We're starting off with January and 40 hours, and just draw coordinates first. Don't try and draw a line to start. So find January, move up to 40 hours and draw a coordinate. Then we have February is 70 hours, draw a coordinate. And a good thing to do here as well might be to cross them out as you go, because it can be quite easy to miss one out. And then all your answers are going to be out of sync. You get to the end, you'll notice, I'm in November. I've just drawn my December answer. I must have missed one out. You've got to go back and draw the entire thing. So crossing it out as you go is a really good technique to save you a bit of time if you do make a mistake. And roll March is 70 hours. Cross it out. April is 90 hours, so 90 is in between 80 and 100. Cross it out. May is at 140 hours. June at 160. July at 170. It's halfway between 160 and 180. August is 180. So we'll see the hours of sunshine is getting higher as we get into summer. And then September is 140, so dropping back down as we get into autumn. October is 100. And now we get into winter, so we should be getting much lower temperatures. November is going down to 70, and December is 50. Now we've plotted our coordinates, you should be able to see the rough outline of the line chart where you're about to draw. And all you need to do now is get your ruler and as accurately as possible join up all of the coordinates. So I'll just do them one at a time. Now a big mistake students make here is they might try and do something like a line of best fit or a curve, and you have to memorise what kind of line you draw for different graphs. So for a line chart, you're going to join up the coordinates dot to dot. A cumulative frequency graph is going to be the one that has a curve in for you to draw, and a scatter diagram is one where we draw one single straight line through all the points. So now I've drawn my line chart and we have our answer. So we've just done hours of sunshine. Now moving on to rainfall. January starts at 105, which would be in between 100 and 110. So I'm going to draw the coordinate. February is 85, and then I'm going to cross those out. Just check that I've not missed anything out. March is going down to 60, and April at 50, and let's cross those. May is at 50, and June's at 35. July going back up to 60, and August is also at 60. September is 85, and October at 90. So what you'll see I'm doing now, rather than doing one at a time and crossing them out, now I'm getting more confident. I'm doing two at a time. I'm crossing. November's at 70. And December at 65. Basically, as your working memory improves, you'll be able to store more of these numbers in your head so you don't miss any out. Now I've drawn all the coordinates, it's time to join them up in the line chart. And be careful to join each dot to the one for it. Don't miss any out. And you'll start to notice patterns in your graphs with things going downwards. The line will go down from left to right. If the numbers go up, then the line will go up from left to right, and if it stays constant, you'll have a straight line. So, for example, in between July and August, the temperature stayed the rain stayed the same at 60 millimeters, so you have a straight line there. Moving on to question 3, we now have temperature. So January starts at 2 degrees, in between 1 and 3. February at 1 degrees, March at 1 degrees, and April at 5 degrees. Now I'll just cross those out and check that I've plotted those correctly. So 2, 1, and 5. You'll notice I'm now doing more of these at once. Again, as you start to get more confident and your working memory on this topic improves. May 10, June at 11, July at 13, and August at 18. Temperatures increasing as we get further into summer. Now plotting the last 4. September dropping down slightly to 15, October down to 11, November down to 7, and December down to 3 degrees. Check we've done those correctly, and now we can join up our line chart. So as the temperature increases from left to right, our graph is going upwards. As the temperature decreases from left to right, the graph is going downwards. And we can see we have a peak in the graph around about summertime where we have the higher temperatures, with the lowest temperatures being in winter with December, January, February. Now doing another graph on sunshine. So this might be a different location or it might be a different year because the data is different. January is starting at 50 hours in between 40 and 60, then to 70, 90, 100, 150, and 160. I'm halfway through. Let's just make sure we've done all those correctly. Check your work as you go. June and July are the same temperature, so the graph's going to go flat here, and August as well. And then now we'll start going down. 130, 100, 70, and 60. Again, always just double check your answers, make sure you've made no mistakes, and now we can draw our line chart. Now we're confident that all our coordinates are in the right place. And you'll notice what I'm going to do is going to draw the line through multiple coordinates at the same time if they're all on the same line. If you're not sure, just go point to point. And there's our final answer. Now moving on to the final one. Now you might be really confident, you might be able to draw all 12 in a row without checking. Starting at 0 for January for temperature, then moving to 4, 5, 4, 8, 9, 13, 14, 12, 8, 7, and 5. And then we're going to draw our line chart. Now you'll see here we have the peak around summer as usual for temperature. We have a smaller secondary peak around about March, where temperatures go up a little bit and then go back down for April. And the weather is a little bit random. While you might have a rule or general trend, like it's always hotter in the summer, you can have random weather patterns come in. and change that slightly, like our little peak there in March. So we've looked at reading line charts and drawing line charts. So now we need to compare data on line charts. Now we can see I have more than one set of data on the same chart. I have one line in green and one line in red, and we have the years for each labelled at the side. So starting off with, which year had the month with the least sunshine? So we're talking about least, so we can go back to putting our rule on the page and moving it up until we reach the data. And as I put my ruler at 40, I can see I'm starting to touch the data with the two lines, and actually both lines seem to be starting at 40 degrees in January, or 40 hours in January. So which year had the month with the least sunshine? Actually, there's a tie break here, and they both do. So we can write January had the least sunshine in both years. Now, moving on to question 2, we're going to compare October in both years. So let's just find October and highlight it. Now, looking at the two lines, we can see the green line is above the red line. That means there's higher temperatures in the green year than there were in the red year. So compare October in both years. I want to say the green year, 2002, at a higher temperature. You could even go into more detail and try and figure out exactly how many degrees, and it was 1 degree higher, 1 degree Celsius higher. And by referencing the numbers as well, you're proving that you've not just randomly chosen, because you think about it, there's only two possible answers. Either 2001 had the highest temperature, or 2002 at the highest temperature. And a 50-50 guess on an exam is normally something they try and avoid. So they may be asking for the numbers as well, just to make sure you do understand what's happening. Now, for the third graph, we're going to compare February for both years. So let's highlight February. And again, we can see the green line is higher than the red line. So look at our key. The green line is for 2003, but we're not just going to say 2003, but say what is it about 2003? 2003 at the higher temperature. 2003 on its own, it's not good enough, because what you could do instead is to say that 2002 had the lowest temperature, and that's going to be just as good as an answer. Try to reference the numbers, and it looks like it's 1 full square higher, and on the key it's going up in 2s, so it'll be 2 degrees higher. Moving on to question 4, we're looking at rainfall, and if you just look at the graphs for temperature and sunshine, where we have that peak in summer, and look at rainfall, the rainfall graphs do look a lot more random, and I think that is broadly true. You're looking at temperature and sunshine hours being controlled by the sun, which has got this kind of consistent pattern. But with the rainfall, you've got all kinds of random weather patterns and clouds coming in, which can change things. So much spikier data for rainfall. Now, which year had a month with the highest rainfall? So again, take our ruler, place it at 120 millimeters, move it down to 110 millimeters, and keep moving it down until we hit one of the lines. We hit some data, and at 100 millimeters of rain, we are finding we're hitting a line, and we're hitting the red line. And looking at the key, the red line represents 2011. So which year had the month with the highest rainfall? We want to say January 2011. You'll notice I'm copying the question here. The question's referencing highest rainfall, so I'm saying higher rainfall in my answer as well, just to make it really clear exactly what it is I am saying. Let's do the same thing for question 5, which year had the month with the lowest rainfall this time. So let's start from the bottom, put our rule on 10 millimeters, move it up to 20, and then 30, and have it move up and see where we hit the data. 50, we're not quite there yet. 55. And let's see what we've got here. Now, it looks like I'm hitting quite a few different data points here. So for 2010, it looks like February is hitting the green line there. But for 2011, it seems like February and March are both hitting the line. So we've got kind of a multiple tie break here. So which year had the month with the lowest rainfall? We need to talk about February in 2010, and we need to talk about February and March in 2011. I want to say they all had the lowest. Now, when I compared months in question 2 and 3, I did actually list the numbers, and I haven't where it's just been for 1 year, like question 1 and 4, but I think I'll do it here, and I'll say they all had the lowest rainfall at 55 millimeters. Again, it's making it really clear to the examiner that you're capable of getting all the possible data off, and you have a good reason for saying that these 3 months all had the same rainfall.
Ouch! This is why in some videos I have unexplained scratches.